Ladies and gentlemen, there is a power within you, a force so tremendous that if properly directed, it can lift you to heights beyond your wildest dreams. That power is the power to master yourself. Mastery over self is the golden key to the mastery of all things. It is the starting point of every achievement, the foundation upon which all success is built. Understand this: every battle you will ever fight, every victory you will ever claim, begins within your own mind. The man who cannot command himself cannot command the circumstances around him. The man who cannot discipline his thoughts, his emotions, his actions, will forever be a servant to those who can. The moment you seize control of your own spirit, you become a magnet for fortune, influence, and greatness. You must first master your thoughts, for they are the architects of your destiny. Think thoughts of courage, and you will act with bravery. Think thoughts of abundance, and prosperity will follow. Hold in your mind the vision of the life you seek, and do not waver, do not doubt, and do not retreat. Your mind is the workshop of your soul. What you build there will be reflected in the world outside. You must master your emotions, for emotions uncontrolled are like a ship without a rudder. Anger, fear, jealousy, and doubt have wrecked more dreams than all the wars ever fought. But when you master your emotions, you channel them into fuel for your ambition. Let your emotions serve you, not enslave you. You must master your habits, for they are the daily chisels that carve your destiny. Success is not a lightning strike. It is the slow and steady accumulation of right choices, right actions, repeated every day. A single act of discipline seems small, but over time it builds an unbreakable will. You must master your time, for it is the only treasure that cannot be reclaimed once spent. The successful man guards his minutes with greater care than the miser guards his gold. Plan your work, work your plan, and waste not a second in the barren fields of procrastination and excuse. And above all, you must master your belief, for what you believe about yourself determines what is possible for you. If you believe you are defeated, you will be. If you believe you are destined for greatness, nothing can keep you from it. Nurture a relentless faith in your own ability to overcome, to persevere, to triumph. The man who conquers himself has no enemy that can defeat him. When you have gained dominion over your own mind, heart, and hands, you have gained dominion over life itself. Victory belongs not to the strongest, nor to the swiftest, but to the one who has mastered the greatest battlefield of all the battlefield within. Would you also like a slightly even more intense version, like the way Hill would write when he's really trying to fire someone up? Fire self-mastery is the foundation of all external success, because without control over oneself, no lasting achievement is possible. Every empire that has ever risen, every fortune that has ever been built, every innovation that has ever changed the course of history, first began with an individual who had the ability to direct and discipline their own mind and actions. The forces of the outside world are powerful, yes, but they are nothing compared to the internal forces within us. Until you conquer yourself, you remain a prisoner to doubt, fear, weakness, and distraction. Only the man who has mastered himself can shape the world around him according to his will. Success is never the result of chance. It is the outcome of deliberate, purposeful thought followed by consistent, disciplined action. Self-mastery means choosing thoughts that align with your highest goals, refusing to be swayed by fleeting emotions, and holding steadfast to a vision even when the winds of adversity blow against you. The individual who fails to master himself will find that no amount of opportunity, talent, or luck can compensate for the chaos within. Like a ship at sea without a captain, he will be tossed about by every wave, drifting wherever the tides of circumstance carry him. To master oneself is to take full responsibility for one's life. It is to recognize that no external condition, no unfair situation, no misfortune can hold you down if you possess command over your own mind. Blaming others, blaming the economy, blaming fate, these are the habits of the weak. The strong look inward and say, if it is to be, it is up to me. The man who understands this principle lives with a sense of power and purpose that cannot be stolen by any external event. He becomes the master craftsman of his destiny, shaping his future with the tools of thought, belief, and action. Self-mastery requires rigorous honesty. It demands that you look at yourself not with excuses, not with justifications, but with the clear eyes of truth. Where have you allowed fear to dictate your choices? Where have you permitted laziness to steal your dreams? Where have you let anger or jealousy cloud your judgment? The man who is willing to confront these weaknesses without flinching is the man who can overcome them. For what you refuse to face will control you, but what you face with courage you can conquer. Discipline is the backbone of self-mastery. The ability to do what must be done when it must be done, whether you feel like it or not, separates the successful from the unsuccessful. Discipline means acting in accordance with your highest values, not your momentary emotions. It means building habits that serve you rather than habits that enslave you. Each small act of discipline is a brick laid in the fortress of character. Over time, these acts accumulate into an impenetrable wall of strength that no setback can breach. Self-mastery also involves the power of focused thought. Your mind is a garden. What you plant there determines what you will harvest. If you sow seeds of doubt, fear, and mediocrity, you will reap failure and frustration. But if you sow seeds of confidence, purpose, and unwavering determination, you will reap a harvest of success beyond measure. Focus means shutting out the distractions that clamor for your attention and holding your gaze firmly on your definite chief aim. It means refusing to dissipate your energy on trivialities and channeling it instead into the pursuit of your grandest vision. The individual who masters himself is not swayed by the opinions of the crowd. He does not look to others for approval or permission. His inner compass guides him, and he trusts it implicitly. While others waver, he stands firm. While others are paralyzed by fear, he moves forward with boldness. His mind is not the servant of circumstance, it is the master of circumstance. Whatever obstacles arise, he does not shrink back, but confronts them head on, knowing that every difficulty is an opportunity to strengthen his will. Patience is another hallmark of self-mastery. Success rarely comes overnight. It is the result of persistent effort over time. The individual who has mastered himself does not grow discouraged when results are slow to appear. He understands that greatness is a process, and he is willing to endure temporary defeat on the road to ultimate victory. Impatience leads to rash decisions and abandoned dreams. Patience, combined with persistence, ensures that no obstacle is insurmountable. Self-mastery is not a one-time achievement. It is a lifelong journey. Every day presents new challenges, new temptations, new tests of will. The man committed to mastering himself greets each day as an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, more capable. He understands that perfection is not the goal, progress is. Each victory over self, no matter how small, builds momentum toward a life of extraordinary achievement. It is important to recognize that self-mastery does not mean repression. It does not mean denying yourself joy, passion, or ambition. On the contrary, it means harnessing these powerful forces and directing them with purpose. It means living with intensity, with vitality, with an unshakable zest for life, but doing so in a way that serves your highest aims rather than sabotaging them. A man who has mastered himself does not live a dull, colorless existence. He lives a life of passion, meaning, and unstoppable drive. The world respects and rewards those who have attained mastery over themselves. They are the leaders, the innovators, the creators of change. They are the ones to whom others look in times of uncertainty. They are the pillars upon which great organizations, great movements, and great civilizations are built. Their inner strength radiates outward, inspiring confidence, loyalty, and admiration. They possess an aura of quiet power that cannot be faked and cannot be ignored. In truth, every external conquest begins with an internal conquest. Before you can lead others, you must lead yourself. Before you can command the forces of business, politics, or art, you must command the forces within your own heart and mind. The man who masters himself stands at the summit of power, for he knows that nothing outside of him can defeat him if he does not first defeat himself. There will be times when the path is hard, when doubt whispers that you are not enough, when setbacks tempt you to surrender. In these moments, remember that self-mastery is not about never falling. It is about rising every time you fall, stronger and more determined than before. It is about holding your vision so clearly in your mind that no temporary failure can blur it. It is about believing so deeply in your own power that no storm can shake your resolve. Self-mastery is the highest form of power because it is power over the one thing you truly control, yourself. The man who possesses this power possesses the keys to every door he wishes to open. He is no longer a slave to circumstance. He becomes a creator of circumstance. He does not merely wish for success. He commands it. He does not merely dream of greatness. He becomes greatness embodied. When you master yourself, you need not seek approval, recognition, or validation from the world, for you will have earned something far greater, the unshakable knowledge that you have become the architect of your own destiny, the captain of your own soul, and the master of all you survey. Control over thoughts, emotions, habits, and time determines destiny, because each of these elements acts as a cornerstone in the structure of success. Thoughts are the genesis of every action, and therefore the root of all outcomes. If a man allows negative, fearful, or confused thoughts to dominate his mind, then no matter how hard he works or how great his talents, his results will always be tainted by the poison of those thoughts. To think clearly, to think positively, to think with unwavering focus on a definite goal, this is the first act of self-mastery. It is in the quiet chambers of your own mind that victory is first declared or defeat is first conceded. When a man takes charge of his thinking, when he disciplines himself to entertain only those ideas that uplift, energize, and propel him forward, he taps into the creative power that shapes reality itself. Emotions are the fuel of human action, but left unchecked, they are a raging fire that burns down everything in its path. The man who is a slave to his emotions, who allows anger to cloud his judgment, fear to paralyze his initiative, jealousy to poison his relationships, will find himself repeatedly defeated regardless of how hard he tries. To succeed, one must be the master of emotion, not its victim. This does not mean suppressing feelings or pretending they do not exist. It means recognizing them, understanding them, and channeling them in productive directions. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of fear. True leadership is not the absence of doubt, but the ability to act in spite of doubt. The man who has learned to govern his emotions can remain calm when others panic, resolute when others hesitate, and compassionate when others lash out. His emotional control becomes a beacon of strength to all who encounter him. Habits form the invisible architecture of a person's life. What you do consistently, day after day, determines the future you build for yourself. A single act, no matter how noble or heroic, cannot compensate for a lifetime of bad habits. Conversely, even small, seemingly insignificant good habits, when practiced persistently, compound into extraordinary success. Successful individuals do not rely on occasional bursts of inspiration. They rely on the momentum of disciplined habits. Habits like early rising, clear planning, consistent learning, Strategic risk-taking, daily goal review, and unwavering perseverance are not accidents. They are the intentional product of self, discipline, and foresight. Every man builds his destiny by the bricks of his daily routines, laying them one by one until a great edifice of accomplishment stands before the world. Master your habits, and you master the mechanism by which success is manufactured. Time is the most precious resource, for it is the only one that is truly finite. Wealth can be regained after loss. Relationships can be rebuilt after fracture. Health can sometimes be restored after neglect. But once time is spent, it is gone forever. The man who does not master his use of time, who fritters away his days in procrastination, distraction, and trivial pursuits, will find at the end of his life that he has built nothing of real value. To master time is to treat each hour as sacred, to guard each moment as a priceless treasure. It means planning your days with intention, refusing to let the urgent crowd out the important, and maintaining a laser focus on those activities that move you steadily toward your goals. It means understanding that saying yes to one thing is saying no to countless others, and that your destiny is ultimately the sum of what you choose to spend your time on. Thoughts, emotions, habits, and time are not separate elements, they are deeply intertwined. A single negative thought, if not controlled, can spiral into destructive emotions. Those emotions can influence your habits, leading you into behaviors that waste your time and sabotage your dreams. But the opposite is equally true. A single positive thought, firmly held, can ignite powerful, uplifting emotions. Those emotions can reinforce productive habits, and those habits can ensure that every hour of your life is invested in building a magnificent future. Success, therefore, is not a mysterious force that visits the lucky or the favored. It is a predictable consequence of controlling these fundamental aspects of yourself. Mastery of thoughts begins with awareness. Most people allow their minds to wander without supervision, drifting from one idea to another like a leaf carried by the wind. But the individual who watches his thoughts, who questions them, who selects only the best and discards the rest, is a man forging the mental armor necessary for great deeds. He fills his mind with visions of success, with images of triumph, with affirmations of his own power and worth. He feeds his imagination not on fears and worries, but on possibilities and opportunities. His dominant thoughts become his reality. Mastery of emotions begins with detachment. It does not mean becoming cold or unfeeling. It means refusing to be ruled by transient emotional storms. When anger arises, he observes it, examines its cause, and chooses his response. When fear whispers lies about his abilities, he acknowledges it, but refuses to let it dictate his actions. When sorrow strikes, he allows himself to feel it, but does not let it define him. Emotional mastery transforms what could be destructive into a source of inner strength and resilience. Mastery of habits requires the understanding that excellence is not an act, but a habit itself. The individual committed to success recognizes that it is not enough to act decisively once or twice. It is necessary to act decisively every day, to build the muscle of discipline until it becomes second nature. He does not rely on motivation, he relies on systems. He sets up his environment to support his goals. He eliminates temptations and distractions. He creates routines that automate his success so that even on days when he feels weak, his habits carry him forward. Mastery of time demands a ruthless prioritization of what truly matters. The man who masters time begins every day with clarity of purpose. He identifies the tasks that will have the greatest impact and tackles them first, before the chaos of the day can interfere. He protects his creative hours, guards his focus, and treats his time with the reverence it deserves. He is not busy, he is effective. He understands that doing a few things exceptionally well is far more powerful than doing many things poorly. By mastering time, he multiplies his efforts and accelerates his progress. When you control your thoughts, you control the blueprint of your future. When you control your emotions, you control your internal stability and strength. When you control your habits, you control the machinery that moves you toward your dreams. When you control your time, you control the pace and magnitude of your achievements. Together, these elements form an unstoppable force. They work in harmony to elevate you above the masses who live by accident rather than by design. Greatness is not reserved for the few. It is reserved for the disciplined. It is reserved for those who will not surrender their minds to fear, who will not surrender their emotions to weakness, who will not surrender their habits to laziness, who will not surrender their time to triviality. The man who wins in life is the man who has first won over himself. Every external success is but the echo of internal mastery. Every dream realized is but the reflection of 1,000 disciplined choices made in the silent moments when no one was watching. The world crowns those who have already crowned themselves through mastery of the unseen battles within. Belief in oneself is the ultimate power for achieving greatness, because every action a man takes, every goal he pursues, and every mountain he climbs is first determined by what he believes about his own ability. Before a dream can be achieved in the outer world, it must be conceived, nurtured, and protected within the inner world. If a man believes he is destined to succeed, his mind, heart, and body will marshal their forces toward that end. If he believes he is doomed to fail, then no matter how many opportunities present themselves, he will sabotage his own efforts. Belief acts as the invisible architect of destiny, setting the boundaries of what is possible and impossible in a man's life. A strong belief system empowers, a weak one enslaves. Belief in oneself is not arrogance, nor is it blind pride. It is a calm, resolute understanding that within you resides the capacity for extraordinary achievement. It is the recognition that you are not at the mercy of circumstance, nor limited by the opinions of others. It is knowing that while you may face obstacles, setbacks, and even failures, none of these define your ultimate potential unless you allow them to. The man who believes in himself possesses a deep inner certainty that he can and will rise to meet any challenge. This inner certainty drives him to attempt what others dare not, to persevere when others quit, and to succeed where others have failed. Every great achievement throughout history was first fueled by belief. The inventors who changed the world, the leaders who rallied nations, the entrepreneurs who built empires, they all shared one common trait: an unwavering belief in their vision and in their own capacity to bring it to life. This belief gave them the courage to endure criticism, the strength to withstand failure, and the stamina to persist long after others had given up. It is belief that provides the endurance necessary for the long journey from vision to reality. Belief acts as a magnet, attracting the ideas, people, and circumstances necessary for success. A man who believes deeply in his mission naturally speaks, acts, and moves with a conviction that draws others to him. His enthusiasm is contagious. His certainty inspires confidence. His inner fire ignites the hearts of those around him. Even when he stands alone, his belief sustains him. But more often than not, belief creates a ripple effect, rallying support, resources, and alliances that accelerate the journey toward the goal. Without belief, talent languishes. Without belief, hard work leads to frustration rather than fulfillment. Without belief, opportunities go unnoticed or unseized. Doubt is a thief that robs men of their dreams. It whispers in their ear that they are not good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough. And if they listen, if they give credence to these lies, they will shrink from life's challenges and settle for mediocrity. But belief slams the door on doubt. It says, I am capable, I am deserving, I am destined. It transforms adversity into fuel, setbacks into stepping stones, and critics into background noise. Belief in oneself must be cultivated deliberately. It does not arrive fully formed. It is built like a fortress, stone by stone, through conscious effort. It begins with a decision to accept the possibility that you are greater than your current circumstances suggest. It is strengthened through action, each small success adding weight and solidity to the foundation. It grows by focusing on your strengths rather than your weaknesses, on your progress rather than your mistakes. Over time, it becomes an unbreakable wall against which the storms of life batter in vain. To build belief, one must also guard against the influences that weaken it. Negative environments, toxic relationships, and defeatist thinking must be recognized and removed. The mind must be fed daily with affirmations of strength, with visions of success, and with the inspiring stories of those who have risen from humble beginnings to towering greatness. Belief is a living thing. It must be nourished, protected, and cherished. It must be treated as the most valuable possession, for indeed it is. True belief in oneself is not shaken by temporary failure. It understands that failure is not a verdict but a lesson. The man who believes in himself interprets failure not as evidence of his inadequacy but as feedback, as instruction on how to improve and move forward. He understands that every master was once a beginner, every victor was once defeated, and every great success story is stitched together with moments of doubt that were conquered, not surrendered to. This understanding gives him resilience, the ability to rise again and again until success is inevitable. Belief also shapes perception. The man who believes in his success sees opportunities where others see obstacles. He sees potential where others see problems. His mind is tuned to possibilities, and therefore he acts in ways that create possibilities. He is proactive rather than reactive, optimistic rather than pessimistic, and courageous rather than fearful. This attitude creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. By expecting success, he behaves in ways that bring about success. Self-belief empowers decision-making. A man confident in himself does not linger indefinitely in doubt or indecision. He studies the facts, listens to counsel, trusts his intuition, and acts decisively. His belief in his ability to course correct if necessary frees him from the paralysis that cripples so many. Decision is the forerunner of action, and action is the forerunner of achievement. Thus, belief in oneself accelerates the journey from dream to reality. Furthermore, belief defines standards. A man who believes in his greatness will not settle for half-hearted effort, for sloppy work, or for second-rate results. He holds himself to a higher standard because he knows he is capable of more. His belief becomes a moral obligation to bring forth the best within him. He demands excellence of himself not because others are watching, but because he is watching. His own belief is both his judge and his motivator. Belief is also a source of limitless energy. When a man is truly convinced of his purpose and his capacity to fulfill it, he taps into a reservoir of strength that others marvel at. He works longer, endures more, sacrifices greater comforts, and pursues his goal with a fervor that seems almost superhuman. This energy is not manufactured through external rewards or fear of punishment. It is born from within, from the deep, unshakable conviction that he is on a mission he is destined to complete. Belief is the antidote to fear. Fear shrinks dreams, paralyzes action, and suffocates potential. But belief expands dreams, fuels action, and unlocks potential. The man who believes in himself feels fear, but he does not submit to it. He steps through fear, acts in spite of it, and thereby renders it powerless. His belief acts as armor, protecting him from the barbs of self, doubt, and the arrows of criticism. The final truth is this: no one will believe in you more than you believe in yourself. Others take their cue from you. If you radiate confidence, conviction, and certainty, they will follow. If you hesitate, doubt, or apologize for your ambition, they will withhold their support. The world mirrors back the belief you project. Therefore, the first and greatest work you must do is internal. Believe with such strength, such clarity, and such persistence that no external circumstance, no rejection, no temporary defeat can shake you from your path. In the grand design of life, belief is the cornerstone upon which all dreams are built. It is the spark that lights the fires of ambition, the engine that drives action, and the shield that protects hope. When a man truly believes in himself, he becomes a force of nature, an unstoppable creator of his destiny. Through belief, all things are possible. Without it, even the simplest goals become mountains too steep to climb. The path to mastering life begins and ends with the mastery of oneself. No external force, no circumstance, and no other person can grant you the success, happiness, and greatness you seek unless you first claim authority over your own mind, your own emotions, your own habits, and your own beliefs. The world you experience is a mirror reflecting the strength, discipline, and vision you hold within. When you conquer your inner world, the outer world bends to your will. Everything you wish to achieve, every goal you aspire to reach, every dream you burn to realize is already within your grasp, waiting for you to discipline yourself enough to seize it. When you understand that your thoughts are the architects of your reality, you will guard them with a vigilance greater than a king guards his treasures. You will feed your mind only the finest ideas, the most empowering visions, and the clearest intentions. You will reject doubt, banish fear, and cultivate a spirit of unstoppable confidence. Your thinking will become a force so clear and focused that it cuts through confusion and obstacles like a sword through mist. Mastering your mind is the first step, because it is from thought that all action flows. Control over your emotions empowers you to navigate the storms of life with calmness and courage. Life will test you. It will present you with challenges meant not to break you, but to forge you. Only the man who rules his emotions can withstand the fires of adversity and emerge stronger, wiser, and more determined. Emotional mastery does not mean feeling nothing. It means feeling deeply and yet choosing actions rooted in strength rather than weakness. It means standing firm when others falter, remaining hopeful when others despair, and pressing forward when others retreat. Your habits are the daily bricks with which you build the structure of your destiny. Every action, repeated consistently over time, compounds into the life you live. There is no escaping this truth. If you wish to build a palace of success, you must lay each brick with precision and care. Discipline must become your closest companion, your small daily disciplines, those unseen victories when no one else is watching, will one day reveal themselves in achievements so great that the world cannot help but take notice. Every great success story is, at its core, a story of consistent, determined, daily habits forged through self-mastery. Your time is the canvas upon which you paint the masterpiece of your life. Every minute wasted is a brushstroke missed, a detail left unfinished. Those who squander time squander life itself. Those who master time, who guard their minutes as fiercely as they guard their dreams, who work with focus and rest with intention, create lives of profound meaning and impact. Success does not happen someday. It happens in the accumulation of wealth, spent hours, days, and years, all stemming from conscious, deliberate control over time. Above all, belief in yourself is the root from which all other strengths grow. Without belief, your thoughts weaken, your emotions falter, your habits decay, and your time is wasted. But with belief, every weakness can be transformed into strength, every failure into a stepping stone, every setback into a setup for a greater comeback. Belief fuels persistence, ignites passion, and inspires resilience. When you believe deeply, wholeheartedly, and unshakably in your own worth and destiny, you unlock a power greater than any obstacle you will ever face. The ultimate truth is simple yet profound. Master yourself, and you master everything.